Hi guys, if you're new here, my name is Jenna. I film a lot of productivity, lifestyle, bullet journal videos and vlogs, so if you want to hit subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. This is part 2 of my grocery haul that I posted on Friday. We're gonna do a little beginning of the year Q&A, and I asked you guys on Instagram and on YouTube last week for questions, and I actually got a good amount of questions. So we're going to mukbang and we're going to eat hot pot at home. Let's go ahead and get started with your questions. Okay, so first we're going to add our meats and all of our food so I can eat while I'm answering your questions. But we have Thomas and Jerry behind the camera ready to ask me my questions for the Q&A. Are you guys ready?
We are ready.
We're gonna add some beef. Okay, I have some bok choy, some broccoli. Wait, I need that water. I need the water. The soup base is a spicy soup base, so I need my water close to me. Fish balls. Before the pandemic hit, my friends and I would go get hot pot like once a week after work. So this is one of my favorite dishes. We have a bowl of rice here. While I eat my hot pot, we're gonna answer your questions. When I was looking through the questions, I think this was like probably the one that I saw a lot. How did I get into YouTube? How did I know I wanted to do it? Honestly, I've been watching YouTube as like my pastime. Like a lot of people watch shows on their pastime, or in the background they like would put on TV, but for me, I think it started in high school. I would put on YouTube channels, and my favorite YouTuber is Kathleen Lights, and she was probably the first YouTuber that I would obsessively watch. I would just watch her for hours, and I don't know, I felt like I was a big part of the community in terms of the audience side, and I felt very connected to the YouTubers that I would watch. So it was always something that I was interested in and something that I always knew I liked. I always had reasons to not do it because of how scared I was, but I had my friends always encouraging me to start a channel, so I think I was always interested in, but when I really got that encouragement that somebody else could envision me as a content creator on YouTube, I think that's what really pushed me the most to get it. So I invested in a good camera. I picked up learning how to edit, and I don't know, once I started, I just kind of didn't stop, and I kind of fell in love with it, so.
More, anything. Put the ramen in there.
My goals for 2021 are, okay, I actually haven't really thought about this. One of my goals for sure, if you've been watching my videos, then you know that I'm pretty dedicated on trying to improve my Korean for 2021. So I'm 100% Korean. I was born in America. I actually did not grow up fluent in Korean, so it's a big passion of mine and a big goal to eventually be conversational in Korean by the time I have kids one day. So that's one of my big goals. Last year I focused a lot on budgeting, like making a monthly budget each month to track everything that I've been buying. So I'll probably keep that up. Another thing I've been interested in more recently is the concept of affirmations. I want to focus on that a little bit more in 2021 too, to try to incorporate that into my daily routine more and my journaling. So in addition to improving my bullet journaling, I want to incorporate more journaling aspects into my bullet journal, and that would include affirmations. So I would say for now, those are my goals for 2021.
I think we might need to add more water.
I just want to feel something.
Next question. How did you meet Thomas?
Okay, how did I meet Thomas? Thomas is my boyfriend of, well, short story is I was a junior in high school. My childhood best friend, she was dating a guy at the time, and she thought that it would be a good idea for me to be introduced to Thomas. And so me being my high school self as a junior, I did slide into Thomas's DMs on Twitter. And what did I do, Thomas? It was like, I think I pretended that my phone had glitched, and I think I just wrote like random letters, right? Yeah, I just wrote like random letters, and like I just wanted to see what he would respond. So that's how the conversation started. And I slid it into his DMs, and then we started texting and FaceTiming, and then he went to Korean barbecue for our first date, and yeah, we started dating a couple months later. That's how I met Thomas. We've been dating ever since. Did I miss something?
No.
Okay. I honestly don't remember how I like first got into bullet journaling. You know what? I do remember. Okay, so I used to be a diehard Erin Condren fan, and Erin Condren, I think my old boss put it as like she was the Mercedes of planners, the like very expensive, very high quality planners. I have always been a planner. I've always used planners like my whole life, and so the Erin Condren planner that I had was for like the academic year. So once I graduated college and my Erin Condren planner ended, it was the middle of the year, and I didn't really know what to do in terms terms of buying a planner for the rest of the year. So I remember I was contemplating like, do I just buy a planner and use it for halfway through the year, or like what do I do? And I think that's how I'm pretty sure that's how I found bullet journaling on like YouTube. It was how to like create your own planner. And so that was where the interest first started, but especially when the pandemic hit, I had nothing to do and I was just mentally very unstable. So I took my energy into bullet journaling, and that's how I really improved. It all takes time, but that's how I started and I love it.
Any tips?
Just practice. I never thought that I was good at bullet journaling. I would look up a lot of bullet journal accounts, so I'll link in the description box my favorite bullet journal accounts. But yeah, pull inspiration from other accounts and start off with recreations, and then when you think you're ready, you can make your own spreads. What is my favorite dessert? I would say, if you can guess correctly, cookies are my favorite dessert. That's a good question. 2020 was, if anything, I've been saying to myself that I would define it as exhausting. So much happened in 2020. There were a lot of bad things that happened, but in terms of my favorite moment of 2020, I would say my best moments were actually being able to live at home for a couple months again. I moved out immediately after college ended, and I moved to this apartment in Arlington. I think I didn't realize how much I missed my mom and dad until I was basically forced to move back home when the stay-at-home order hit, and I had to live at home from March all the way through the end of May. It was a lot, and definitely my family and I all had to lean on each other during quarantine, but I think when I think back to 2020, I'm gonna think of the time that I spent with my mom and dad and my dog. I think those were my best moments of 2020, just being able to live with my family again. What am I looking forward to in 2021? I think getting back to being able to do things again and not be scared to do things again. Yeah, just getting a normal life back. That's what I'm looking forward to the most.
Can you talk about Timmy and his favorite things?
Timmy is my 12-year-old Shih Tzu, and he was my Christmas present in 2008, and I've just been in love with him ever since. If you look at my favorites album on my phone, it's literally just like rows and rows of pictures of my dog. He used to have the cutest underbite ever. It was like his most popular trait, but he had to get his teeth removed, I think last year, because he got too old and they got infected. So Timmy he brings a lot of joy into the world, and I would do anything for him. I'll do a whole different video about my hair journey, but I started dyeing my hair. I would say the first time I really dyed my hair was in freshman year of college. I dyed it like a chocolate brown, and it was like a balayage. It was like completely brown, and I didn't really like the way that it faded out over time and just the maintenance, so I dyed it back to black. Up until my junior year of college, I started doing like very subtle highlights, and then just the more highlights I got, the next time I go back, I get them a little lighter and a little more. And now we're left with my blonde balayage, and I think because of the girl that I go to, Hair X Jojo on Instagram, I don't know what she uses with my hair, but the blonde holds up so well with my very thick, very Asian hair. So the maintenance is a little rough. You have to get used to it. I shampoo my hair once a week, and every other day I just body shower, blow dry my hair after my workout, and put in dry shampoo. So the maintenance is kind of annoying, and I definitely feel gross a lot of the days, but every time you wash your hair with dyed hair, you're like washing out more of the color. So I just want to preserve the color as long as possible, and so I shampoo my hair once a week. I want to get more into like hair serums and masks, but maybe that's something I can look into next year. This is so good. Similar to my hair journey, maybe I can make a separate video all about my fitness journey. There's a lot I could say about my fitness journey, but I will say that I've always been a very athletic person. When I was in middle and high school, I ran cross country, and I really, really liked just being active all the time. So I went to the gym a lot, nothing really crazy, but starting from last year when I moved here to Arlington, I started going to Orange Theory. I had an unlimited membership, and I would go 4 times a week. And yeah, I really loved Orange Theory, and I still do. When the pandemic is over, I'm going to go back to Orange Theory. But I will say that in terms of my fitness journey, I wasn't seeing any results because of me working out so intensely at Orange Theory. It made me think that I could eat whatever I want and however much of it. Yeah, my fitness journey didn't really change much until this year. When the pandemic hit, I started intermittent fasting just as like another thing to try, and it turned out to be very effective, and I ended up losing like around 20 pounds since I started intermittent fasting and just taking exercise more seriously. I changed my entire mentality with the whole idea of exercise, and I tried not seeing working out as something that I had to do, but exercise as something that was good for my body. So I think once I was able to change my mentality with how I viewed working out, that gave me better results in terms of my physical physique. My biggest tip is to just change your mentality or reevaluate how you view exercise and health, because if you see it as something that you need to do or see it as something that you're doing for someone else's happiness, then you're not going to get the results that you want, and you're never going to be happy with any result that you do have. I would say my first tip, and really my only tip, is to reevaluate and change your mentality. I would say my favorite fitness influencers are definitely Whitney Simmons. She is like my whole reason for how I even changed my mentality. I think it's because of how she puts out her mentality with health and fitness that really influenced me the most and inspired me to reevaluate how I saw everything. I could talk about Whitney Simmons for hours. I have so much of her merch. I have a membership to her fitness app, Alive, and I've done a bunch of her workouts. I would say doing her at-home workout was one of the reasons that I was able to start losing weight, which was something that I was focusing on. So aside from Whitney Simmons, I also love Rachel's Good Eats on Instagram. She does Instagram live workouts and she posts a lot of recipes. So I love doing her workouts too. Linda Sun on YouTube. She posts a lot of what I eat in a day videos. She shows you the workouts that she's doing and what she's eating. I really like her view on health and fitness too. So yeah, those are some of the few. How do I pick my morning workout? Honestly, I used to do a lot of programs because I like hate choosing my workouts. I like can never come up with them by myself. So I really liked doing programs because I wouldn't have to think about it and it was already thought out for me. So I did Alive Inside from Whitney Simmons 3 times, I think maybe 4 times, 3 times. And then I did Alive Inside 2.0. I did Chloe Ting's workout program too. Right now I'm not doing a program. I just kind of go on YouTube and search the amount of time that I want to work out for and like the part of the body that I want to work out, and then I just kind of choose something to my choosing like in the moment. I went to the University of Maryland and I graduated with a degree in finance. Would I go back and change it? Probably. I would honestly, thinking about the job that I have now, I'm a government contracts consultant. I kind of wish that I majored in accounting so that I could get my CPA a lot easier if that was something that I wanted to do. But yeah, that's what I majored in, finance. My favorite quick meal is, if you can guess it, it's avocado toast. I have it like every day, but it's not just because it tastes good. It takes like 5 minutes to make because you just toast some bread, smear some avocado on, and if you want to add an egg, that literally takes like 5 minutes to make. So that's my favorite quick meal. Favorite coffee drinks, I like to drink black coffee. I really don't like flavored coffees that much because I don't like the taste of sweet coffee. If it's too sweet, then I just can't drink it. So boring answer, but I like black coffee. I think a perfect day for me would look like actually getting out of bed in the morning instead of being on my phone. I've been in a bad habit of just like staying in my bed. Ideally, I would get out of bed right when I wake up. Also ideally at like 5:30 because I just really love my mornings, and I'd have a productive work day, get off at a normal time, spend time with the people that I care about. I think that's as ideal as I can make it. Dating advice. Thomas and I were actually long distance for a good number of years. How many years, Thomas? Like, I feel like on and off we were long distance for like maybe 2 years, 3 years? 2 to 3 years we were long distance, and he was living in Utah and I was living in Maryland going to college. And it was really, really hard. I would say tips are just communicating as often as you would if you were not doing long distance. I think that that's something that helped me and Thomas a lot, was making sure that we're still texting all day, even if it's just like simple things about how your day is going. Making sure to FaceTime every night before you go to bed. You know, obviously there are going to be days where you can't do that, but I would say like on a normal basis, I think just how often me and Thomas were able to communicate was something that really helped with the distance. And don't hide anything. I think that's a big thing for dating advice too. You respect each other always. Put yourself in their shoes in times that you're frustrated. Never go to bed unhappy. That's something for me too. Jewelry is from Mejuri, and investing in solid gold pieces where you don't have to worry about taking it off in the shower or it tarnishing and losing its value that you paid for. I would recommend. My favorite pieces are all from Mejuri because they offer really good prices for solid gold. So yeah, Mejuri. I think it's easier to separate my work life and personal life when it comes to my job as a government contracts consultant, because, you know, when you log in your hours and you're done with the day, in an ideal world, you're done with your work and you can focus on things not relating to that. But I think the hard part about YouTube is that people make it look like it's a very lavish life, and I'm sure it is, especially if you've been very successful on the platform. But I think it's really hard because there is little to no separation with your YouTube life and your personal life. There's just so much blend. I feel like I'm thinking more often on like what's the next new thing that I can do, and like what's something that I can stand out, what's something that is creative enough to I guess like reach more people. It just makes it hard to separate when you need some time for yourself. For something like YouTube, it's harder to have that separation. Favorite place to shop? Probably, yeah, honestly, probably I spend a lot of money on Abercrombie and a lot of money on Princess Polly. Those are probably like my two favorite places to shop because Princess Polly has a lot of trendy things and you can support your favorite influencers too with their codes. And Abercrombie, I used to work at Abercrombie. That's a fun fact. I worked at Abercrombie in high school. I really liked it. It was a very chill job, but I think more recently their clothes have gotten a lot better. They're much more muted and basic. So I like Abercrombie for basic things and I like Princess Polly for trendier things. I have so many eyeshadow palettes, but I think my favorite one is probably, and you can't get it anymore, but it's the Dream Street palette by Kathleen Lights and ColourPop. But one that you can get now, I would say probably Soft Glam by Anastasia Beverly Hills. Oh, favorite book? It's not like a novel or anything, but one of my favorite books I got as a graduation gift in high school from one of my family friends, and it's called The Book of Mentors, and it's basically just a bunch of short stories by famous people telling their life stories and giving advice, and they're a bunch of short excerpts, but really insightful and a really good place for inspiration. Have me and Thomas talked about living together and or our future together. Thomas is still figuring out his career path. So Thomas and I are the same year. We met in high school and we graduated the same year, but he actually graduated from college a year late because he took a gap year in the middle of college to go to the Winter Olympics. So that's really cool. Thomas, my boyfriend, is an Olympian for short track speed skating. So because of that, he graduated a little late and he still finished with a finance degree as well, but because of that, I think his career path is a little bit less defined right now because he was able to have the time to do that. So right now, Thomas is figuring out his career path and we can't really figure out our exact future together until he knows what his career path is. But have me and Thomas talked about our future? Yes. It has been quite some time, and thank you to Jerry and Thomas who have been behind the scenes this whole time, taking breaks and eating this hot pot with me while I answer your questions. That's it for today's video. I hope you guys had fun getting to know me a little bit more. I'll do another one soon, but I'm at 300 subscribers, so maybe when we get to my next goal for my YouTube is to get to 1,000. So maybe when we get to 1,000, we'll do another Q&A. But for now, I guess that's everything. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. But until then, I miss you already.